Mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Get those questions in, and we will answer as many of them as we can on today's show. Jerome Sims, what does the receiving core look like next season behind Darnell Mooney? Really good question. I think Allen Robinson's a wild card. Probably more likely he's gone than he returns, but we'll see. Could depend on price. Could depend on a potential new regime as well. I would say maybe you re-sign one of Damir Bird or Marquise Goodwin to be that number 3 receiver. I don't think you need both. Just pick one you like better, and then either draft or sign another receiver opposite of Darnell Mooney. Nixon Pamphel, since we have Justin Fields as our franchise quarterback, do you think the Bears should draft a late-round quarterback? My choice is Desmond Ridder. What do you think? I think the only reason you would do that is if Andy Dalton doesn't re-sign, which he probably won't. He'll probably try to be a starter again somewhere else. And if you cut Nick Foles. Otherwise, there's no real reason to spend a draft pick on a quarterback. Now, you could sign a vet as your third QB, or you could pick up an undrafted free agent. But the Bears don't have enough draft capital to spend a pick on a quarterback, in my opinion. I like Desmond Ridder. I think he's climbing up boards because this QB draft class isn't great. But I don't think it's needed. Nick Foles is more than capable of being this team's backup quarterback next year. Traction says, Matt Forte is my favorite all-time Bear. Nice. Should we dump the vets for picks and rebuild around Fields, Roquan, and Jalen Johnson? Look, I mean, I think that's something this regime or a new regime will have to weigh. I mean, can you get draft picks or legit picks for guys like Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, Allen Robinson, potentially Akeem Hicks on a sign-and trade? I don't think you're going to get anything for Danny Trevathan. He's a cut candidate, that's for sure. But there's a couple other vets on this team that you could try to trade for some picks, and I think that's something that this team will have to consider this offseason. 69-69-69 Bears. Who are some players the Bears could target in the second round? I'm not sure what that avatar is, by the way, but love the handle. Someone said, or my producer says it's Andy Dalton's jersey on a bear. Okay, that's funny. Here's some guys I think to keep in mind. And again, we're early in the process here. I haven't done my full, draft evaluations. I'll certainly dive deeper into that over the next couple of months. But David Bell, wide receiver out of Purdue, like him a lot. I think he's a guy that could be there in the second round. Alec Lindstrom, the center out of Boston College. I think center is a major need. And you're not going to get the kid out of Iowa because he's going to go early in the first round. Roger McCreary, the corner out of Auburn, he's a name I like. Haskell Garrett, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. We haven't seen much from Eddie Goldman, if we're being honest. Bilal Nichols is a free agent. You might need an interior pass rusher, defensive tackle. Jaquan Brisker, the safety out of Penn State. He's another guy. What if, Tashawn Gibson probably won't come back next year. You could use another safety. So I think these are some names. But again, it's very, very early. And I will do more studying. And if you want me to, I will do a Bears draft targets video. If you want me to do that, type Y for yes. If you don't, type N for no. 2 ways to convince me to do one. Type Y for yes. Let's get a bunch of Ys in the comments. Number 2, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Bears Now. If we get enough subs on this mailbag, which I can study the analytics on YouTube, it'll tell me how many subscribers we get. If we get, let's say, 50+ subscribers on this mailbag and 50+ Ys in the comments, I will do a Bears draft targets video. Who says no? So subscribe, type Y. We'll put a YouTube ad break right here, so if you get hit with one, do those 2 things, and when you get back, the video will be up and playing, and we'll do that video for you guys in the near future. All right, Ron Ponde, who do you think will be the Bears' next coach realistically? I think a lot of the names we've mentioned are mostly realistic. Guys that aren't that realistic that I've seen thrown around. I don't think Jim Harbaugh's that realistic. Sean Payton's a long shot. He's a sitting head coach in the NFL. But all the other guys, I mean, you don't think Doug Peterson would take this job? You don't think Kellen Moore would heavily consider taking this job? Brian Dable? I mean, all these guys, especially these offensive guys, be like, damn, you got Justin Fields. He's flashed a lot as a rookie. There's still talent on this roster, and it's Chicago. This isn't Jacksonville. This isn't like if Urban Meyer stepped down. It's like, well, yeah, Jacksonville's attractive because of Trevor Lawrence, but it's the Jaguars. no one cares about the Jags. The Bears, they're a huge media market. That strong fan base, great sports town. Like, there's a lot of appeal for the Chicago Bears job. Don Burr with the super chat. Hire me as GM. I'll extend Nagy and get Cody Parkey. Don, thanks for sending me your stimmy. We'll always appreciate it. And your satire is, while it's not appreciated, it is at least a little bit funny. Concept Human Beings with the super chat. Dump Damir Bird, and can we get Davante Adams or you mean Godwin, Chris Godwin. That's who you mean, I assume. Look, getting rid of Damir Bird and signing Davante Adams don't coincide, like, because the money is so, different, obviously. But yeah, go sign Davante Adams. Like, I'm down. Let's ride. I'm all in on signing him. I'm also all in on Justin Fields. That's why I bought his jersey before the season even began. Chatsports.com/Fields1 is the link to go to. Chatsports.com/Fields1. We have the navy ones available, the white ones available, and we have the orange ones available as well. Go to chatsports.com/Fields1. Pick up a brand new Justin Fields jersey today. That way we can, celebrate together and have QB1's jersey in your crib. Jacob says, if Cohen is healthy next year, how should we use him in an offense since Khalil Herbert looks like he could be a good RB2? Gosh. It's a good question. I don't know what the future of Tarik Cohen is, if I'm being honest with you. I feel for him, but I'm also like, what do you do if you are Chicago, right? Like, do you wait for him forever? Do you hope it just magically gets better? I don't know. He hasn't played yet this year. Like, we don't even know if Tarik Cohen is going to be the same guy when he is back. That's why I'm hoping he gets back at some point this year, but I'm just not that confident it's going to happen. And the Bears might just cut him and try to save a little money this offseason. ABB Sports Bros, trade Montgomery because Herbert is good. It's possible. I will say, I think when Montgomery's gotten back, he's proven that he is the better player at this point, but that doesn't mean you still shouldn't consider it. I think Khalil Herbert is good enough and is capable of being a starter, but I really like Monty too. Like, I like the idea of Monty and Herbert being that 1-2 punch with this offense, because I still think this is going to be an offense that wants to run the football regardless of who the next head coach is going to be. So I'm not quite there, but if you can get like a third-round pick, dare I say a second for David Montgomery, that's appealing. We're with the team that doesn't have a ton of draft capital. Aaron White, what's your dream offseason? My absolute dream is Sean Payton as head coach. Competent defensive coordinator. Maybe it's Sean Desai still, but I'm sure Payton would bring someone in. And GM, I'd be fine with any of the guys I mentioned on our Ryan Pace replacements video. Go check that out if you haven't already, youtube.com/BearsNow. That's pretty much it from the front office and coaching standpoint. And then, get another legitimate receiver. Maybe that still is Allen Robinson. Bring him back. Go get Davante Adams. Go get Chris Godwin. One of those things. Or draft someone. And then also you need another corner and a center. So you ask for the dreams, that's it. Get a legitimate corner, get a center, get another wide receiver that's legit, and then upgrade your coach and your GM. There you go. 5-step plan to improve the Chicago Bears. Who is your favorite/best Bears team of all time in your opinion? I want to know. I'm going with the 85 Bears. I know that's the obvious answer. Maybe you weren't around when the 85 Bears were playing. So pick another one. Maybe you young guys love the 2018 team that, should have gone deep in the playoffs. Let's hear it down in the comments. Best Bears team of all time. We've got time for a few more. JF Bears for life. Bring back Kyle Fuller. I'd do it for cheap. He hadn't had a good year, though, for Denver. He hasn't played well. He knows the Bears. He knows the personnel here. So, could you get him on like a 1-year deal for less than $5 million next year? If you can, I'm down, but I'm not paying him big money. Leon Arsenio. Where does Dalton land next year? I don't know. I think Andy Dalton's handled things really well. I'd like to bring him back as a backup, but I think he's shown that, he could potentially start somewhere. I don't know where that would be. Denver, if Denver can't get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, I think he'd be an upgrade for what they have. So I don't know. I think that Andy Dalton will need to sit down and decide how bad does he want to be a starting quarterback. And if he does, it's not going to be in Chicago. Fear the Squid, who is out there to pair with Roquan at linebacker in 2022? It's a good question. I think Ogletree's played fine. You could bring him back on another one-year deal. That's not a long-term solution, but I think he could be kind of a stopgap guy because you have bigger needs next year. But, I'll look into that. I'll look at some draft guys and some free agents. But the good news, when you have a guy like Roquan, you don't need your other guy to be just a flat-out stud. You just need a competent linebacker. I think Ogletree is that. It's unfortunate Trevathan can't stay healthy, but that was a bad contract by Ryan Pace. It was clear that he was injury-prone and he had lost a step, and Pace still paid him. So that was a very poor decision. Follow me on Instagram, at HGramNFL. That's been the theme on our live show here. Grow my IG page, help a brother out, because the more we grow on Instagram, the more we grow on YouTube, the more content we can give out to you, because that's what I want to do on IG. I want to bring you guys some more Bears content, some bonus content in the future. Follow me over there. It's at HGramNFL. Kurt Morrow, if Kellen Moore becomes head coach, you think he would bring Michael Gallup with him? Sure. I'd be down. Now, Michael Gallup, let's be clear about something. He's not a true number one. He's a very good number two receiver, in my opinion. But, Darnell Mooney, maybe he keeps ascending. He becomes that one, or maybe it's 1A, 1B. You have two elite number two receivers, and that works, right? You can certainly do that. So I'd be down. Let's get after it. I would love Michael Gallup and Kellen Moore in Chicago. JF Bears for life. Draft Chris Olave if A-Rob leaves. You guys know how I feel about Olave. I would love it, but probably going to go first round. How are you going to get into the first round? That's my question. If he falls to the second round, for sure. Would I trade up for him? Maybe. It would depend on how much I'd have to give up.